These are my shaped filament bulbs. They work great as an accent on a table or a nightlight to keep the boogeyman away. With just a twist of the base, turn it on and off. It also uses two AAA batteries that are easily swapped. They use a 3D printed resin channel in the desired shape with LED filament run through it. I think the intended use for these was sort of an old-timey Edison bulb, but make it LED. But I saw this TikTok account with this sort of wrapped around something on the inside of a bottle, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if you could make an Edison bulb, but with a custom shape on the inside? But as with everything I make, it was not a linear process to get there. I was trying to focus on four things. I wanted it to be recognizable. I want you to think light bulb when you see this. A sense of ship in a bottle, where it looks like the design is too large to fit inside. Ease of use was also really big. I wanted to make sure it was easy to turn on and off and swap the batteries. And finally, that it printed well. Without too many parts or too much support to remove, I wanted to keep it simple. The first one was a mess. There's a switch in the bottom, which means that the wiring is hooked up to this. So if you try and unscrew it, you have to be careful to not twist the wires. So I added a battery door, but now you have this little contact you have to worry about, and it just felt messy and unprofessional. So then I thought, what happens if I combine this with this? You could have a custom logo on the inside for your bar or restaurant, but that would mean that I need a really simple way to turn it on and off, and I need to make the battery swap as durable as possible. That led to this, the Wineglass, with a simple turning mechanism for a switch and an easily swappable battery. But it was a bit overcomplicated, with this tiny little pogo switch and this piece of steel soldered in the most annoying way possible. It was at about this point that a friend of mine suggested I make them AAAs. Now, I'm really attached to the 123 battery. This is a 3-volt filament. 123 batteries are 3 volts. AAAs are only 1.5, so I need to stick 2 AAAs into here. Plus, the 123 battery is shorter. I'd have to lengthen this whole thing. And I really didn't want to go back. But he was right. 123 batteries, they're not approachable. Most people don't have them. They don't want to buy them. They're also not rechargeable. And if I want people using these often, I don't want to contribute to landfill waste. So I went back and I made it into a AAA. And that's how we arrive here. The top has been pushed all the way to the top of the neck, buying us some of that vertical room that we needed. The batteries are also wired in butt first, so that the spring is always the thing you're pushing into, which makes it easier to load and unload your batteries. This contact point has also been turned into one single piece that just wraps around, so there's no more soldering needed. The pogo has also been replaced with a pin that's wired to a 10 ohm resistor. That gives us more of a glow as opposed to a bright light. I did manage to squeeze 2 AA's in, but it ends up making this base so long because the neck is slightly tapered, so in order for the housing and the batteries to fit in, they only end up going to about here. With this one, I also played with the idea of 2 colors of filament. I wanted to see how much more hassle it would be and if it was a viable option to offer. But a word of caution, most AA and AAA batteries are 1.5 volts, but most rechargeable nickel metal hydrides, which is what most people have, are actually 1.2. I thought about maybe just sticking with 1.2 and going rechargeable batteries. I could get rid of that resistor. But if you come along and you put a 1.5 in, you're going to start loading the LED a little bit more. It's going to get hotter. It's going to wear out faster. So I found some rechargeable 1.5s. These are lipos. They have a little charge point inside. But yeah, just be careful. Make sure you look out for that voltage. Yeah, these are the designs I currently have. These guys are on bulb, I'm calling them, because they sit on their bulb. These are on end. They sit on their end. The on-end ones are a little bit more tippy, though the battery is pretty good at weighing it down. If you want to see, some of the designs flipped around so that you could have like this one as an on bulb, let me know. I think certain ones like the bolt really work in one direction better because the line of the bolt drives into the base, and I think it reads a little bit better. But I can swap them around, and I have some other designs from like neon signs and kids coloring books and stuff like that read easily from afar that I'll be coming out with as well. But let me know if you have any design ideas. I'll add to the list, and as they come out, I'll share them with you guys. But yeah, these are the ones that are currently up on my Etsy. New designs will come out mostly through the short form stuff, but I do have some more long form content coming out, and that'll all be here on YouTube. So if you want to keep up with both long and short, you'll see more designs sort of like come through the short, and then the more interesting builds and things that take more than a minute to say, they'll come through YouTube. So yeah, subscribe to keep up.